I'm going to talk to you guys today about how I get the best deals for myself and for my clients on real estate. What's going on? It's your brother, your uncle, your favorite realtor's favorite realtor. And for today's video, I'm going to give you the secret sauce that's not secret at all as far as how to get a better deal on real estate. For this particular video, I'm going to try to just go straight through it, light editing, just practical information that you yourself can take advantage of, and hopefully for your next buyer client, they can take advantage of the benefits as well. So when you talk about getting a better deal on real estate, a lot of times clients tend to think that everything that they see on HGTV and Listed and all those popular shows is reality, not realizing that these TV shows, and I'm just going to give you out a secret, specifically HGTV, 99% of the time, the individuals have already found the house and they just go through the motions for the TV show as far as looking at multiple homes. But they've already found the house. I found that when I found that out, I was like, wow, television is truly detached from reality. In order to get a really good deal on real estate, you got to be looking at a couple of things. For one, what are your expectations and what are your clients' expectations in a particular home? We all have what I like to call our wish list of 10 things that we'd love in a home. We want a home with a huge backyard, a finished basement, built-in entertainment room, all that jazz. Not realizing that for that true 10 out of 10 wish list, you're probably going to have to pay at the top of your budget in regards to that. Oh, and let's not forget, they want to be within a short distance to shops and restaurants. Literally, they just want to be able to walk out the door. That's not going to be reality in any real estate market, but the deals tend to come when an individual is willing to put a little bit of work in some capacity. So let's talk through one of the traditional tried and true ways as real estate investors that we look at real estate and what's a particular deal. We try to get the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood because it's assumed, especially if you're an investor, that you're going to put a little bit of sweat equity into that property and then essentially build it up and make it look like the remainder of the neighborhood. But the remainder of the neighborhood is what's going to bring the equity from the repairs that you make. So when you hear people talk about sweat equity, they are essentially saying that they're going to take out those 1970s toilets out of that home and put something very modern. If the home has tile or, weird wallpaper, they take all of that stuff out, they modernize it, and they make it look like other homes in the neighborhood. That is one way as an investor that you can get the best deal on a property is a very outdated home. But try to encourage your clients, especially if you are working solely with clients, helping them find real estate. Maybe you work with other real estate investors. Look for the homes that are completely outdated. Look for the homes that have when I talk about the most crazy custom stuff, gold toilets, fish bowls in the, in the ceiling, all that kind of stuff. Because those individuals, unfortunately, when they put those things in their home, the real estate agent, if they were working with one, did not tell them that it's very important not to get too heavy with the customizations of a particular home, because it's assumed if we're thinking about the buyer of this property when I'm ready to sell this home, I want that buyer to have as little friction as possible. So if, for example, I go crazy with the paint, that's super easy. You just paint right over it, whatever color you want to do. If the home has certain updates, let's say, I don't know, granite countertops, that's a traditionally accepted type of upgrade that usually the next buyer will be very happy with that. But when you get to carving out parts of the home and putting secret, bat caves into the property, all that kind of jazz, that is a bad thing for a seller because ultimately someone has to look past that in order to buy that property. And when that person has put their home on the market and they just quite frankly realize after 30 days, 60 days, hopefully not 120 days, that at some point they're going to have to realize that the market is telling them what their home is worth. So for me, what I do as a real estate agent is I'll have a deep dive conversation with the listing agent if I notice a particular property that I think could be a good deal for my clients, and I'll ask these key questions. I'll ask the seller, the seller's agent, Mr. and Mrs. Seller's agent, what are some of the things that are important to your seller in an offer that they will accept? So that gives me a little bit of idea of where I can kind of hammer them on the negotiation side. They might say something to the effect of, well, they ideally would want to get a deal done if they don't have to like paint the house over, or they don't have to make all of these modernizing updates to the property. If I know that my buyer is willing to kind of get in there and kind of do their own thing to the property, I might use that as a negotiation tool and basically give the illusion to that listing agent that that's going to be a significant pain point for my buyer, and they're going to have to give us a deal on this property if they want to get it, if we want to get this under contract. Hey, if you've made it this far in the video and you are a real estate professional, consider partnering with me here at Real Brokerage. Pay nothing per month, get a fantastic split, and you have the opportunity to build a business through revenue share and stock purchases. Book a call at the link below in today's video, and I'm happy to have a conversation on why I was able to grow my business exponentially by moving my practice to Real Brokerage. All right, back to the video. Another thing that I tend to look at is deferred maintenance. Now, you don't have to necessarily be a home inspector, but it would be amazing if you had a home inspector, if you're an agent, go with you to that property, because 9 times out of 10, most home inspectors, because they want to get your business, they'll be willing to at least take a look at pictures of the home, video of the property, and give you kind of an eyeball, it's not anything that they'll put in writing, but kind of give you an eyeball, estimate of what might be deferred maintenance and what may be a repair that, the buyer is going to potentially have to look at. Most inspectors are willing to do that. Literally, if it's just a bunch of pictures that you take of the property, and I'm talking about eyeballing it like an inspector, walking through a home, taking a look at the base, taking pictures of the baseboards, the roof, all of these areas, and you just shoot a couple pictures to, a couple home inspectors and say, hey, we're thinking about getting this property under contract. Can you kind of look at these pictures here? I'm not holding you to anything that you're telling me, but kind of look at some of these pictures here, maybe put a bunch of them like in a Dropbox file or a Google link, and have them give you an idea of what probably has not been taken care of in the home. And then you can use that, at least preliminarily, you can use that to hammer down the price. Realize that time is on your side as a buyer and a buyer's agent. Time is not on your side as a seller and a seller's agent, because as the seller is seeing that more and more days are going by that the home is remaining on market, they're going to start to get a little desperate. And usually we are to blame as the listing agents, but most rational sellers will see, especially if you were a good listing agent and you made them aware of some areas that a buyer might have an issue with. But, sellers will be sellers, and some of them are, unfortunately, they can be a little bit stubborn at times. But if you give them a little bit of the game and you just say, hey, this might be something that a buyer might have an issue with, hopefully that seller deals with it on the front end, because a guy like me, as a buyer's agent, I'm going to hammer you down like MC Hammer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm going to literally nitpick and look at everything. And I am the inflection king with my voice. So I'm going to scare the bejesus out of that listing agent, and don't let it be a for sale by owner. Oh man, then I really go ham on those. But, I look at situations and, I've done this for so long. And of course I'm an investor as well, but you can get a deal on a property by just sheer timing. If the home has been on the market for a very long time, if the home has, unfortunately, not the best updates to the property, if there are multiple homes in a neighborhood that is currently on the market, you usually can have your pick of the litter and say, which one do you think is most likely to give you a better deal? Because if I see in my neighborhood that and I'm interested in selling my home, and I see like a bunch of other homes for sale, that also can create a stigma of, hey, what's going on in this neighborhood? Why are so many people interested in, looking to sell their home? Is that something that I need to be aware of? Yeah, it's possible that could be the case, but it's also very possible that it's just a timing thing where all of these families, unfortunately, have kids going off to school, or they're about to be empty nesters and they don't need all that house that they owned when the kiddos were in the home. And now, just for timing reasons, they're all essentially selling at the same time. These are the things that you can find out by simply having conversations with the listing agents, having conversations with the homeowner if it's a for sale by owner, knocking on the door. I wouldn't necessarily say do that. At least I'm not, but reaching out to the individual, calling them directly if it's a for sale by owner, asking these questions, trying to find out, again, one of those individuals, especially if it's a neighborhood with a bunch of houses for sale and they're all similar to what you're looking for, one of those individuals are going to crack. One of those individuals are in the middle of a terrible divorce, and they got to get that home sold before they lose it for one reason or the other. Or maybe they got hired at a new job and they have to get rid of that house, or else they're going to end up, carrying two mortgages. You're going to be able to find out what those pain points are. And 9 times out of 10, it's as simple as calling, literally like a friend, and asking specific questions on the motivation behind why that person is selling that home. If it's an agent that, unfortunately doesn't, know how to communicate with other real estate agents, some of them share, they just completely spill all the tea. They tell you all the drama going on. And I just literally, you'll sit there and listen. I might chuckle if it's kind of funny, but ultimately in the back of my mind, as the bulldog that I consider myself as a representative or an agent, I'm going to use that against them. If I'm the one buying it, I'm really going to use that against them. But obviously, if I'm representing another client, I'm going to give them the real deal. And I'm going to tell them, hey, look, based on these issues or factors going on in the home, I think we have an angle in this particular area, or I think we have an angle in that area. These sellers in this current market, when they are interested in selling, it's usually some type of motivation that you as the buyer can leverage, especially when we're in a high interest rate market, because they're giving up their 2 and 3% interest rate for a very specific reason. Again, divorce, job move, or empty nesters, or some other extenuating circumstance. So a good real estate agent is going to find that out in a very friendly fashion. And then once you get that deal close to being under contract, that's when you do the hammering. Again, friendly but firm. But ultimately, you hold the cards as a buyer in the current market that we're in. All right, if this video helped you, let me know in the comments below what are some of the ways that you get the best deal for your clients and yourself if you're an agent investor like me. And for some particular reason, YouTube thinks that you're going to enjoy one of these 2 videos here. Maybe this one, I'm not sure. But if you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more. And until the next video, it's your brother, your uncle, your favorite realtor's favorite realtor, signing off.